Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Epic Frodo YouTube channel. My name is Will, and today I'm joined by Sam.
Hello.
And today we are doing a commentary to the classic Raiders of the Lost Ark, probably one of the greatest films of all time. So if you want to sync up your copy, put your timestamp to 0, and press play when I say go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Here we go.
Paramount picture. So this, just the whole thing, like whenever I see that old Paramount picture,
Yeah.
all I think of is this film. Just Indiana Jones.
Really?
Of course, it's the...
I think of Ronald Reagan when I see it.
Right? Why?
He was an old actor, wasn't he?
Oh, okay.
Ronald
I was
Reagan.
thinking, why do you think of the President of the United States when you see the Paramount logo?
Because he's an actor. He was an actor.
I know it was an actor, but it's just a very random thing to think of. So this whole series is probably the first like film I ever, as in like when I stopped watching like Thomas the Tank Engine and
Yeah.
I don't know, kids films. This is the first film I remember seeing before all of that.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember when I first saw this. I can't remember.
I definitely remember being 4 or 5 years old, 3 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, that young. I remember watching this before watching Star Wars.
I can't believe that.
Well, there's the end scene.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to watch. They obviously like my parents
Yeah.
made me look away. But so for a while, Indiana Jones for me was I've seen 99% of the film, but I've never seen the last scene. And then obviously when I got older, it was like, oh, so that's
There's a
the end
reason
scene.
why.
That's the end scene, the end scene, which we'll obviously get to.
That's- So they're in the jungle now.
So Steven Spielberg, this is like peak Spielberg because you're not a movie hobgoblin as you describe yourself as,
No.
but you must know who
Not
Steven
really.
Spielberg is.
Yeah, I know who Steven Spielberg is. Yeah.
You know his films?
Oh, um, uh, Schindler's List. Is that one
Yeah,
of them?
that's one of them. Yeah, and Saving Private Ryan as well.
Yeah,
So
I know
you-
Saving Private Ryan.
So this is obviously before all of that. So this is when he's still making like kids action adventure crazy films. Then he hits the 90s and it's
Yeah.
suddenly depressing war films. That's obviously a big generalization, but
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
South America, 1936.
And
Wow.
even if what I like about this is it's so timeless. Even if you didn't put 1936, this could be set in the 80s. This opening scene could be set in the 1800s.
Yeah, you wouldn't know whether it's been.
And you still haven't seen Indiana Jones yet, as in like his face. You don't know who he is.
Is this the map, Lao Shi? Oh wait, wrong one.
It is the greatest character opening ever.
Now he
Harrison
could have
Ford.
pulled that trigger long before that.
Yeah, I guess just aiming down the sights, getting it ready, getting it dramatic. And this is the costume that all... If you went in your primary school, if ever you had to dress up as like a movie character, you either went as like
Indiana
Luke
Jones.
Skywalker or Indiana Jones.
I used to go as James Bond.
Oh yeah, James Bond. So James Bond, when this film was being made, so George Lucas made Star Wars, and he always goes on holiday
Yeah.
before, like during the day the film comes out, so that way he's away from everything. He doesn't have to worry about if the film does badly. But he went on holiday, and Spielberg was there as well, and he was
Yeah.
making a sandcastle with him, and then he found out, oh, Star Wars is actually doing really well. I can relax a bit. And then Steven Spielberg said, I've always wanted to make a James Bond film. And George Lucas said, well, I'll do you one better. And he told him the idea for this, for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
So this is kind of Spielberg's own James Bond, you could say.
Mm.
Because they tried to
Have you
make
heard
him...
this?
How do I know it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little website called IMDb, and there's a trivia section.
What's IMDb?
International Movie Database or something like that. So it's like a list of every movies and actors ever, and then you just like read facts about the films. It's quite interesting. Senor.
Oh, look at that.
It's funny how this picture shows, like, when you first see this, you think, oh, he's not scared of anything.
Yeah.
Like, he's tough, he's got... Oh my god.
Ooh.
So apparently this was his first day, Alfred Molina. This is his first day on set.
Oh, was it?
And he had to have all these spiders put on him.
Are they real spiders?
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's no CG, is there? 1981 this was made. But yeah, you're introduced to Indy and you think he's this amazing action man hero. And then as the film goes on, you start to realise, oh, you know, he's just scared of snakes. He hates being involved. Like, it is pretty bad for, like, if I think of how young I was watching this, just how, like, insane it is, really. But I love them. I would say this and Star Wars are almost on par as my favourites. Lord of the Rings is still up there far, but...
I was going to say in Lord of the Rings.
Senor.
I didn't know that this bit was at the start of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Didn't you? When did you think this was?
No, I thought this was in Temple of Doom.
Really?
Yeah.
The start of Temple of Doom is a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, I know. Or what was the other one?
Last Crusade.
Yeah.
What's the opening to Last Crusade? The opening to Last Crusade it's quite similar. It's young Indiana Jones in the desert.
Yeah, with was it Whacking Phoenix or
his brother, River Phoenix. When I was younger, I used to think, how do they make these things like the Mayans, like 1,000 years ago? Like if you step in the light, that causes like spikes to come out of nowhere. Have you ever seen Spider-Man 2?
No.
Oh, well, the guy on the left's in it. He plays Dr. Octopus.
Oh, I thought I recognised him.
Yeah. Obviously looking very fresh-faced here.
Yeah.
I think he's English, Alfred Molina. He's not Spanish or anything. And he's one of those characters who's literally only in this film for, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah,
and he's like one of the most famous characters from the whole series. And here is the most famous scene. There's a picture of you, isn't there? Like this, from Disney World.
Yeah, I'm in Indy's face.
Photo booth, and it's you just like...
That's the thing, that was before Photo Booth. That's been, what, 2002?
2001 we went to America.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it might be when we went.
But it looks so funny because you're so small, you don't fit into the frame.
Yeah. I don't fit into Indy's hat.
God, so good. Just even watching it, I've watched this film so many times over the course of 20 years. It still gets me going. Have you seen the show at Disney World? The Indiana Jones show at Disney World. Do you remember it?
I remember the bit in the show where they fight on this one with the Nazi, with the Nazi plane.
Oh yeah, what, from this film or the show?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Indy, what have you done? I think it's Rugrats movie, isn't it? Where they
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
take the Mickey out of this
Rugrats film. This has been used everywhere, I think, just the boulder. But I remember in the Disney Channel, the Disney World show, they have this opening scene, and then the actor gets. So I watched it in 2001 when I was 4, and then I went to Disney World in 2018, and I watched it again. Yeah, and I remembered it. I remembered everything that happened in it. But the guy playing Indiana gets run over by the boulder. And
oh dear.
It's meant to happen as like and then they're like, oh, cut, if that makes sense. But I still fell for it again. I was like, oh no, the guy's just been run over by the boulder in this show for kids. And I was like, oh no, what's happened?
He's actually been killed.
Yeah, when I watched it again when I was 21, I was like, oh no.
Sorry, this was not
Yeah,
meant to happen.
it generally looked so real. I was like, oh no. What do you think of Harrison Ford as Indiana?
Well, it's iconic, isn't it? I can imagine it being anyone else.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, poor chap. So,
So here's the.
here's the baddie.
He's French, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is his name Bolak or something? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it is.
I was going to say something else.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, Rene Bolac or something, if I remember.
But Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones is, like you said, it's perfect.
Yeah, Belloc.
That's
That's it.
because he's done Star Wars,
Mm.
and then this, and I kind of feel like it's this film which made him like the A-list superstar that he is. Because like
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford were all on the same level after
Yeah.
Star Wars, but Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher didn't get their Indiana Jones to skyrocket them up,
Mm.
and they just kind of just didn't. They're nowhere near as successful as Harrison Ford, although they still did great stuff on their own, especially Mark Hamill.
It's interesting that Belloc's after Idols as well as the Ark.
Yeah, what do you think that says about his character?
He's a power-hungry maniac. That's what he is.
And you see, obviously, it's not a very well-known fact. I mean, it is a well-known fact. It's got 3PO or something on the side of the plane. CPO. Where is it? There's CPO.
There it is, yeah. CPO.
C3PO.
That arrow went nowhere. Shot that at the tree, let alone.
Because at the start of this film, Indiana Jones, like I said, Indiana Jones is made to be like this tough guy. He's not scared of spiders, and then you find out he's scared of snakes. And throughout the entirety of the film, every time, all three films, whenever there's a fight scene, his face is always, it's either like, oh, I've got to fight these guys, or it's either like this now, where he's just legging it from everyone. So he's never portrayed. He's not like Bronson, like Tom Hardy and Bronson. Like, come on then, you're a chum. I'll give you some of
James
this.
Bond.
Or like Roger Moore, who's just like casually killing people. He's like, oh, judo chop. So it's like, yeah, he's just not portrayed to be a action man. He's just made to be a guy just looking for artifacts. He just keeps getting caught up in all these situations he doesn't want to be in.
Well, he's a uni professor, isn't he?
Yeah. That's the best thing, because it's like, which Indiana Jones do you think he really is, the cool professor or the adventurer? Well, I guess they're both the same character. They just don't, like I said, Indiana Jones just doesn't want to keep getting involved with all these crazy fight scenes.
New Stone.
Now, this is the movie that made me, if you remember what I was going to go originally, what was I originally going to study at university? It was originally
architecture. Not architecture, it's archaeology.
I was originally going to go study archaeology because of this.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be Indiana Jones.
Did you want to find the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah, there he is, Mark. That's you, Sam. If there's ever a movie character that best resembles you, you're Marcus Brody.
Marcus Brody.
I'm definitely Indiana, and you're definitely Marcus Brody.
Fine.
And Jack Suller.
That does actually work, yeah.
Because I wanted to go to university to do archaeology because of this. Just because of Indiana Jones. But then...
That's why you wanted to do it.
Look at his face, he's just like... You see, if he was James Bond, he would be like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Come to my office afterwards.
Yeah.
Yes. But he's just a bit like, oh. The guy just puts the apple on his desk, always made me laugh. I was just like, why? When is it?
Give his teacher a present.
This guy, yeah. He takes it, gives it a little. Have you seen the fourth one? The new one?
Yeah.
The not very good one.
Yeah.
It's nice that they had a statue of him outside their university
Marcus Brody, yeah.
that his son crashes into and his head falls off or something. Listen to me, old boy. Yeah, so I went to go do archaeology at university, and then I realised that it's not like this. It's more like Time Team.
You realise it doesn't involve trekking to the Andes.
I wouldn't have been Harrison Ford wearing a cool hat with a whip. I would have been Tony Robinson in a raincoat.
Yeah, you'd have been like, I'm here today in Anglesey Abbey.
Look at this. It's a portion
Peeing
of
down
a
with
pot.
rain. Yeah.
This is the Ark of the Covenant. This is the corner of a ancient Romans dinner plate.
Yeah. And it's like, actually, it was somebody who who buried it a few years ago.
Yeah. So one of these people is in Star Wars, and I can't remember which one of those two guys. I think it's the guy on the right. Is it Porkins? There's like, careful, Porkins, in the the ships at the end. I only think he's Porkins because he's a rotund man.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, it's this scene I always remember just not understanding because it's like just talking.
Yeah.
But when you get older, you realise it's the Ark scene. This is the most important scene of the first act. Now, for the listener, Sam is currently what student are you? A student of theology?
I'm a student of rare antiquities.
So he's studying mainly religion. So that's why I've got Sam along for this, as there is a huge themes of religion.
I don't pretend to be an expert on any of this.
You know more than me, so you'll be able to discuss what is the story of the Ark, what's its significance.
He is obsessed with the occult. The word occult literally just means hidden, if I remember.
So it's Harrison Ford, the only one alive, probably, from this film.
Yeah, Denholm Elliott died quite a while ago.
What's the guy's name? Salah. What's the actor's name?
John Rhys Davies.
John Rhys Davies, yeah, Gimli. He's still alive, and so is Alfred Molina and Karen Allen.
Karen Allen,
yeah.
Which he did.
That's a good way to deliver exposition. He's like, no, the stones Moses took down and smashed, Don't you know this?
It's Exodus 32, if I remember.
That's what your college looks like.
A lot of colleges in a certain place do look like that, yeah.
A lot of, the Cambridge and Oxford colleges look a lot like this, and I'm not sure where
it's very Oxbridgey.
What university? What university is?
Boston or somewhere.
Boston, yeah, Massachusetts, that sort of area. I don't know which university he's a professor at. Is Marcus Brody your favourite character?
Yeah, I guess.
Because in this one and the third one, they're two completely different characters.
In this
one, he's kind of like his Q. If that makes sense. He's like, oh, I can help you. I know what you're doing. Here you go. Take this. Here's that. I'll help you. Here's your connections. Whereas in the third one, it's like, does anyone speak ancient Greek or?
Yeah, anyone speak Hebrew or whatever.
What do you think about? I think setting it in 1936 is a perfect.
Yeah,
time.
Well, it combines the Nazis, doesn't it?
And it combines the fact that if it's set in 41 or 42, there'll be the desert, and Harrison Ford like, okay, can we get the US Army just to come attack?
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like they're not quite. The only thing that had happened if it's 36 would be the Anschluss, Rhineland, not the Anschluss, the Rhineland, and the Pact of Italy. That's it, really. No Anschluss, no invasion of Czechoslovakia, nothing like that. So they're not quite the massive threat they're going to be.
Well, the
And Nazi just is just the general term for villain, so it's an easy villain.
Yeah.
And there's that whole obsession of them, of the occult and hunting down religious artifacts, Christian artifacts, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's one noise from these films that always creeps me out, and it's that wind sound. Whenever there's like a mention of godly beings, there's always like,
yeah,
especially in the third one when they're going into the thing, and there's like, and then the guy's head gets chopped off when he walks through the. He's like, the penitent man kneels.
That's because the same word for spirit in Hebrew is wind.
Really?
Yep.
Oh. Facts with Sam.
Which is ruach in Hebrew. Same word.
So in this scene, Indiana Jones is meant to be dressed like that, as in like in his clothes, like his pajamas and all that kind of thing. They wanted him to have like be with a lady, but they cut that bit out because it makes him more too like James Bondy.
Yeah, he's always ready.
There is quite a lot of similarities between this and the third one. I can see why you get confused. It's like a cold opening, and then a man in the suit coming to his private place to talk to him. Because in the third one, he comes to talk to him about the engraving that his dad had or something.
Oh yeah. Junior.
R.I.P. Sean Connery.
Yeah.
It was only a couple of days ago.
90.
Gosh, he had some good innings. Do you think the Ark of the Covenant's real?
Oh, that's a question and a half. I think it was, because it's mentioned in the histories of the Bible, which, as much as you can say whether Exodus was a genuine written book by people who were actually there and whether the Exodus was a real thing, the actual histories do recall an Ark of the Covenant. So I think there was a Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. What was quite in it was...
it's good how in this, like, Indiana Jones he doesn't believe in the whole religious curses on it. He just thinks it's just an artifact and he's going to go find.
Yeah.
But it always does seem to be like religion is the main mysticism in all three. So in this one it's old Christianity, in the third one it's Christianity again. In the second one it's like, I'm not sure if it's meant to be an Indian religion or an Indian pagan religion.
What in
Temple of Doom?
Well, it's Hindu, isn't it?
Is it Hindu?
He's, prepare to meet Kali.
In hell. Prepare to meet Kali.
What was it? The stones of what they called?
I can't remember. We'll get to that though. We'll get to Temple of Doom. We'll do the stones.
He's taking the long way to it. My goodness, imagine flying that way to Egypt or Tanis or wherever.
I don't think would they even be able to do that? Fly over the Pacific? Oh, they did stop at an island, didn't they?
Yeah, they
fly
stopped
right over the Pacific on a propeller. Oh, they're going to Nepal first. That's why. Yeah, they're getting to Marion.
But they've taken days.
My
dad's been there.
What, to Nepal?
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to Everest.
I don't know whereabouts in Nepal this is, but...
Okay, so the guy on the left, is that a man or a woman? I could never tell.
It's got to be a bloke.
It just looks like Susan Boyle or someone like that.
He's got stubble.
Oh, well, we're actually watching in HD. When I used to watch this, it used to be on video.
Yeah, I was going to say, the quality is probably...
What do you think they're drinking?
Looks like tequila or something.
Tequila in the pool. Must be whiskey. Because when you're younger, you don't know what whiskey and vodka tastes like. So you're obviously watching this scene thinking like, it can't be that bad. They're just drinking drinks.
Apple juice.
Yeah. And then when you know what it is, you're just like, oh god, and the amount that they get through. Just almost my. Ooh. Can you still hear me? I just had to pause it because I sneezed.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Like, how many have they got through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
He's
10,
called
11,
Oh, blimey.
15, 16 shots. Yeah, it's definitely a bloke that I can see in HD.
On my subtitles, it was saying "give him space." So
And it's in Nepal, so they must be travellers.
yeah.
All the Sherpas in the background with their ropes around there.
Oh.
And then she's fine and she's able to have a fist fight afterwards. She's speaking Russian.
I don't know. It might be Russian, yeah.
You instantly... That's one of the best things about this character is if you just drew his silhouette, you'd know who he is.
Yeah.
What do you think of Marion? Not personally, I mean like as the character.
I thought the character was a bit cringy in the fourth one, but I think she's fine in this one.
Fine, she's great in this one.
Yeah.
I really don't remember the fourth one because I saw it. I think I've seen it twice.
So rubbish.
Yeah, it just wasn't. I saw it when it came out in the cinema, so I still would have been quite young, and I thought it was fine. But I've just never been bothered to watch it again. Whereas these, all the time.
Abner's dead. What was Abner doing?
Who even is Abner?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Just been her husband died.
See that she's perfectly fine. She's sitting on like 15 shots of whiskey and she's walking around like.
Yeah. Don't want to know what her liver looks like, but by the end of it,
she's doing that every night with all the guests making money.
Yeah.
But I think her character is so much better than the girl in the second one.
Yeah.
Like straight away, it's just you don't want to mess with her. Whereas in the second one, she's just like India.
Oh, she's
the actress all the time, isn't she?
Yeah, she's an actor. Whereas Marion's got a bit of the adventurous style.
She's basically just female Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
I want that hat.
You want a fedora?
They sold them in Disney World.
I think I got one when we went.
Really?
Yeah, I got an Indiana Jones. It won't fit me now at all. But
there it is. Top of the staff of Ra.
Stone of Ra, Egyptian god.
No, it's cool how they just combine so much.
Yeah.
But it's all Exodus, isn't it? Egypt and
yeah, I was going to say Ra.
Hebrew gods. God.
Ra's not a Hebrew god.
That's a Hebrew god. They combine that with the Hebrew god, Yahweh. Am I not allowed to say that or something? Is that a bad word?
It's a Jewish tradition, or Israelite tradition. Is it only one person ever says it, and it's the high priest.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
On the Day of Atonement, if I remember.
They say it in the third one.
No one's actually knows how it's pronounced.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. No. So the word, Jehovah.
Jehovah.
It comes from like Jehovah's Witnesses. It comes from a false translation.
Because in the third one, it says J is spelt with an I or something, or like a.
That's Latin.
Oh, Latin.
Yeah, that's a Latin thing.
So how's it meant to be pronounced?
I don't know.
No one knows. Oh.
No one knows, no, because when the Second Temple got collapsed, if I remember, when the Second Temple collapsed in the year 70, they stopped saying it because it destroyed the Holy of Holies, which is the only place the high priest would actually meet with God. So they stopped saying it, and no one knows now how it's supposed to be pronounced. But when it's written in Hebrew, it's not written. Traditionally, it wasn't written with vowels, so it was just YHWH.
So it's just
and they added the vowels later, but the vowels are supposed to be for like the word Adonai as opposed to Jehovah. So hence it's a false translation.
That's cool. There's so much confusion going on then, I see, in the pronunciations.
Yeah.
But this guy, the Gestapo man,
the
way he talks, he's like, yes, Fraulein. It's almost like he knows he's gone in there and he's going to like hurt her, and he just can't wait to do it. He's just like, oh, come on, let's get to the part where I get to... And he's so sweaty all the time as well.
I know, yeah.
That's one thing I remember, just how sweaty this guy is.
He does look plastic, doesn't he?
Well, he does become a plastic man at the end, and his face literally melts.
Melts, yeah.
Yeah. This guy, when he gets shot in the head as well, that used to scare the life out of me. Okay, so that's 2 shots he's fired. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Surely that's that. He's got a revolver, isn't he? Or is he using his Colt?
He's got a different pistol now.
I think it's him. He gets shot in between the eyes, and his face just goes like, ooh.
See that? He's got looks like a Browning there.
Oh, so he's not using his
revolver.
Indie revolver. Yeah, look. Oh.
Oof.
It's just You sound like a Jawa then.
Yeah. The subtitles on mine says "speaks indistinctly."
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Even they could pick it up.
That bit always made me laugh. Just drink the drink. Oh. What was it he says? Whiskey.
Yeah,
whiskey. I always thought he just wanted the drink when he asked for it. And there's no music going on. I can never remember the Gestapo guy's name.
No.
And it's just his face when he screams as well. It's just so much
funny,
like
this bit.
Horrific imagery, isn't there?
Yeah.
But I always found this bit really satisfying when he runs out and puts his hand in the snow and it makes that tss noise. Look, he's like tss.
Oh, I bet that hurts.
Like, it's just that, see how like his face is always just like, whoa, whoa. He just doesn't want to get involved in these fights. Because one thing I never understood was how did the Germans find everything as well? And it's because he has the medallion on his hand.
Oh yeah. It's burnt on his hand.
Yeah. So they don't need the medallion anymore. He literally has it on his hand now.
It's the medallion of Ra.
And this is just become an iconic thing in itself. Every time there's like a comedy film where someone's travelling around the world, it's always done like this.
So he stopped off at Baghdad. Now he's in Cairo.
There he is, a Welshman playing an Egyptian.
Salah.
And he's proper Welsh as well.
Yeah.
John Rhys Davies.
That. But Cairo doesn't look like that anymore. It's probably all just
McDonald's.
Skyscrapers, yeah.
It must do in some parts. When I went to Morocco, it was quite like that. There's the monkey.
That monkey. That monkey's nothing but a pain in this movie.
Have you been to Egypt?
Yeah, but that was in Sinai.
Oh, didn't go Cairo.
Nah, no.
This film made me want a monkey as well.
Pet monkey. Look at his little jacket.
So John Rhys Davies, big renaissance as Gimli. Spent most of that movie on his knees.
Oh, so he's actually on his knees in that
No,
film?
I don't know if he is. I think it's just like they filmed some scenes with
Oh.
the humans and the wizards and Gandalf, and then they'd film it again with the hobbits and John Rhys, because he's about 6'4" or something like that. And if you look at the height of him compared to like Elijah Wood, it looks like the actual height proportion of a dwarf and a hobbit.
Oh, really?
So when they filmed them separately, they didn't have to do it weird because they were just like the same height as they would be.
Hmm. The Well of Souls is an actual place.
Is it?
Hmm.
Is it in the desert?
I don't know. I don't think it's in Egypt. If I remember, I think it's in Israel.
Israel.
The Well of Souls.
So these are all names you're familiar with.
Yeah. So yeah, the Well of Souls is actually in Jerusalem under the Dome of the Rock.
Oh.
So
I do wonder how much religious studying went into this movie, or whether it's just like something Spielberg and George Lucas were always interested in.
I think there's some, but the actual Well of Souls isn't in Egypt. It's in Jerusalem.
So I'm trying to remember, what's the monkey's role again? Doesn't the monkey belong to the Germans, and it's just trying to get them to... I can't remember.
Yeah. Bad dates.
I was literally just about to say that.
I don't eat dates because of this film.
I literally, every time I see dates, I just think of this film. Bad dates. Yeah, 'cause it belongs to this guy with the eye patch, who looks like the guy who was just in the bar earlier, but... And the thing about this film is how we wonder how much of them are Egyptian and how much of them are... Because this was filmed in England. Like, some of the sets here were Elstree Studios in England. And some of them were obviously on location in... I don't know if it is actually Egypt or if it's like Tunisia.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's in Tunisia. So that guy could literally be like some guy from like London, just made to look like John Rhys Davies, made to look like he's from Egypt.
Mm.
And all these guys as well. Jawohl.
I mean, the Gestapo in this, they look like mafia baddies.
They look like they're English.
Yeah. It's a bit like, what's it, Bugsy Malone?
Knuckles, get him.
Yeah.
Fat Sam. They do, don't they? They do look like they're gonna... Unless they're in their Gestapo summer wear. And it's so like just like slapstick as well.
Yeah.
Like a comedy fight routine. And the noise that when someone gets hit, it's just so you just know, you just recognize it like that. That was made by whack. I think it's like whacking a baseball bat into a clump of leather.
What was it?
Oh, no, the Indy's punch noise.
I thought you meant the Wilhelm scream.
Oh no. I have a whip. Not for that. From when I was like 10, I went to Gran Canaria and bought a whip.
Got the bull whip.
We went to like a cowboy place and I got a whip, obviously trying to be Indiana Jones again. And the amount of times I just hit myself in the face with it. Oh, those teeth. To be fair, I'd rather have a frying pan than a knife.
It's just like, how did that guy not have the chance to...
There is a thing going around that Indiana Jones doesn't even need to be in this film, and the same thing would just play out.
Yeah.
I've seen videos like that because so the guy, if Indiana Jones didn't show up, they would have taken the medallion, but he still gets the medallion on his hand anyway.
Yeah.
They find the Ark, they still get the Ark.
They all died. Yeah.
They still open the Ark, and they all die. And Indiana Jones didn't even need to be there. But that would make for a rubbish film. There we go. So I think this guy's English.
This is just the iconic bit, isn't it?
Yeah, just made to look like he's Egyptian.
Mm.
So the reason why he's sweating so much, Indiana Jones, is not because it's hot. It's because everyone had food poisoning on this day.
Oh, really?
And he's just trying really hard. Like, come on, hold it in, Indy. Come on, Harrison. Just just keep it together, man.
He's running really slow, isn't he? Look.
He's got the old... So Harrison Ford does that old man run.
Yeah.
When his hips, they're not quite going. It's a couple of years off from running like an old man. He's still got it as a young man here, but when you see him running in The Force Awakens, it's just like, a hip. All these people's livelihoods, he's just wrecking.
Yeah. Western man's just come straight into the marketplace and causing hassle.
In Mannequin. Whipping out the MP5.
I mean, the accuracy of these people is just...
They just throws money at them, just like 90% of my German I know comes from these films. Got the explosions as well in these films or something. Because you see the fourth one, everything looks so fake. Oh no, not Marion.
What have you done, Indy? Tender theme playing. As it says
we are for the pig.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker.
And the hat's from Savile Row. Just down the road from me. In London. Kommen Sie bitte. They do look like mafia villains, don't they?
So the actual place where the real Well of Souls is in a rock, which is 90 million years old.
Jeez. So I think this is a set in England. Because I was young, I never understood why. So why is he French?
Who, Belloc?
Yeah, I think, why is he French? Why is he not German? I guess it's just to show that anyone will get involved with the Nazis for personal gain.
Yeah. Ooh.
Was that a Mauser?
Yeah.
So what did you think of all the... Say someone doing religion like yourself, what do they think when they watch films like this?
What do you mean?
Like, what do they think? Isn't like using it as themes? They find it interesting.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to explore, the religious themes of it. I think there's something in it, I guess, like searching for things which we should not be looking for, and just accepting the mystery as it is.
Yeah.
As opposed to desperately searching for the Ark of the Covenant or the Holy Grail or whatever. Supposedly the Ethiopians have the Ark of the Covenant.
Really?
Yeah. And they were going to bring it out and show it, but they were like, no, sorry.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was only a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. So maybe they have it, maybe they don't. Who knows?
Maybe it was just a box.
Oh yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a radio for speaking to God. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember. I don't know how accurate this is, but I think in the old temple, in the old tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant was used as the way to as the way to communicate to God. So God would appear in between the two cherubim, the two angel-looking things at the top. He'd appear in that to the high priest
on the Ark.
Yeah.
So this is based. The Ark in this is based on a lot of religious texts. Like the concept design for it.
The actual design is how it is specified in the Bible.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So the way it looks is how the Bible describes it.
And me.
Life goes on.
See how cool it would be having a monkey like that to like control it though.
What, having a
little monkey to do your bidding for you.
Yeah.
So what was it? Is this what it was like in Egypt for you? All the
It was when we went on the sort of like desert.
I never heard the call to prayer though. And it's something I'd love to hear.
Yeah, it's quite something when you hear it in person.
Here's the bad dates. Kills his own monkey though.
Yeah. It's Tabasco sauce.
He just puts too much pepper on it.
too much Tabasco sauce. He knows something's up.
He knows. He's like, that door's not open. Oh, the guy sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
I tell you what, only what I saw, Dr. Jones, in the valleys.
On my subtitles where it says what I saw with, it puts saw with as one word, SAWITH.
It keeps doing that on mine as well. I think this is Amazon. They're making the subtitles all joined up. See, one of those scenes where they're building tension. He's got a date in his hand, and he keeps trying to bite it, and he can't have a munch on that. He says that very casually.
It's like, don't disturb the Ark of the Covenant. Oh, look, that's some old Hebrew there.
Wow. So the guy has one on his hand. It has the thing that says go to it, and then the other side says take back 1 kadam. So I don't know, is it a measurement? You have to go back.
A kadam?
Because it says the writing tells you where to find the thing. And then it said take back 1 kadam. So what's a kadam?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because he says they're digging in the wrong place. It says take back 1 kadam.
Yeah.
And they don't know that you have to take back 1 kadam because he's only got one side of the thing on his hand.
It might not be a real thing, if I'm honest.
Maybe it's like 1 mile. Take back one mile. 1 kilometre from where you are. So they're digging in the wrong place because they've only got one half of the
stone.
One half of the Staff of Ra.
Staff of Ra.
The Furies. I think the guy behind him, the middle one, his death's the worst. Because his face just kind of like sinks in.
Melts, doesn't it?
It's like I think does his head explode? Or is that the last guy?
Balok's head explodes. Kind of like... It's like a melon.
The only way I can describe it is he put like a vacuum cleaner in his head and he's turned it to reverse and it's just sucked everything inside.
Yeah.
Oh, Salah's funny when he's digging the thing and he's like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
I think it's inside this room. There's on the hieroglyphs, or is it the room with the Ark in? I can't remember. There's the R2D2 and C3PO hieroglyph.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't think it's this one. It's the one where there's all the snakes, I think.
Mysterious theme plays.
I like how they just leave the staff in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares about it?
Guess it's in case they need it. I think that was built 3,000 years ago. A little model diorama. Yeah, this bit. He's like, "Oh." God, shouting German and angrily just gets me so scared. It just reminds me of this. I'd be so scared if that was me. It's just like the world's biggest game of Ludo. Don't forget Yukidam. No, he's got his archaeology brush.
Make sure I bring that.
It's a very satisfying scene.
If you like cleaning dust.
Can you read ancient Egyptian?
No, I cannot read ancient Egyptian. This thing, it's not letters, it's symbols.
So how long ago was Exodus?
Supposedly about 3,000 years ago.
So the Ark is 3,000 years old.
Yeah.
Especially if it came at the wrong time. You'd have to wait another day.
Yeah, I was right.
3,000.
3,500 years ago.
Good.
Oh!
What do you think of John Williams?
Some good music.
It is. I don't know how he just keeps coming up with amazing stuff over and over again. So the Well of Souls is the room with all the snakes in. That he falls in.
It must be, I'm assuming. I can't really remember this part of the film.
Unless they just took a name of something. I think this is the first ever time I've even watched it in HD.
Yeah.
So I would have watched it on video, then on DVD. Sweating a lot there. I don't know if he's still got food poisoning. I doubt it though.
But that's hot under there.
Oh, I just smashed a 3,000-year-old staff. Salah. Do you know who they originally wanted for Salah?
Who?
Danny DeVito.
There.
Yeah. That would have been a different film.
Salah.
Vasa. They're asking for water.
Want water? I'll get you water.
Vasa. So is that a coincidence that he just walked into that tent?
A coincidence.
Or did he know he was there?
No, I think Salah must have found
it. Oh.
Probably.
That's not a very good look on Indy's face.
Nah. I gotta leave you.
Jones. It's funny his real name is Henry Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Called the dog Indiana. But then everyone's got really cool names. Marcus Brody, Marion Ravenwood.
Marion Ravenwood.
Indiana.
Henry Jones Jr.
Henry Jones.
Henry Jones Sr.
So would you put this up there as your favourite film? Not your favourite film of all time. Where would you say this specifically, not the whole series, this one specifically? Where does it go?
What, my favourite films of all time?
Yeah.
Blimey.
Let's start with the Indiana Jones series. What's your favourite one out of all three?
The Last Crusade.
Yeah, same for me as well.
Last Crusade, then this one, and then the second one, and then a very, very low down, probably one of my worst movies of all time, the fourth one.
Yeah. I just don't include the fourth one in the series.
Yeah.
When everyone says what's your favourite, I just don't even think of it. Like when I asked you what's your favourite, I literally said what's your favourite out of the three.
Yeah, it'd be the Last Crusade.
For me, it used to be the second one when I was younger. I found it's the one I could watch the most. And I don't know why. Because then I watched these again about 4 years ago. Oh, look how it's all crusty and everything.
Oh, yeah, it's infected.
But, I watched the second one again. And I just turned it off after like 20 minutes. I thought, I can't really be bothered to watch this one.
Yeah.
I think it's because it takes after the opening. It's not like this one where you have the opening and you go straight to Nepal, then you go straight to Egypt.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you get to India and then there's a long time before the next thing happens. I think the next thing to happen is you find they have to go to India, then they have the dinner scene, then they go, then you see the first sacrifice, and it takes a while for it to get going after that, and you're kind of stuck in one place. Although it does get really good at the end. And the second one's set before this.
Yeah, it's 1933, isn't it?
That's a great shot, that.
Indy's not mucking in and helping.
No, he's not. He's like, come on, Indy. He's like, I'm project managing.
Yeah. Proper archaeologist.
This scene looks like something out of an old 50s like Bible epic. Like Ben-Hur or something. Maybe it was meant to be like that, but it's definitely on a set.
I think it's probably based off a painting, that one.
Yeah.
I think it's based off Joshua passing the River Jordan with the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh.
It's an actual picture. It looks a bit similar to that.
They're digging in the wrong place.
Yeah. The thing that gets me is they're digging right in front of the Nazis.
Yeah, they're not far, are they?
Yeah.
Surely you see them and hear them singing. I guess it's the thunder as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
See that wind noise, like
Yeah.
the holy wind.
It is. It's the wind of God.
But it's scarier in the third one when what's it?
I think that sort of ghostly.
Oh, that scared the life out of me then.
Ghostly dew.
I forgot about that. That scared me.
You like Salah? Indy.
How did the snakes? I always wonder. They've been trapped in there for thousands of years, unless they can crawl through the walls and things.
Probably crawl through the walls, or maybe they're alive eternally.
Well, Ra is a snake, isn't he?
Yeah. No, I don't think Ra's a bird.
Ra's a bird, yeah, an eagle. I don't know which one's a snake, if any.
I think he has a serpent in his hat.
Snakes.
I hate snakes. Ra's a bird.
Asps are definitely Egyptian. That's what is it Cleopatra bit herself with?
What an asp.
So one of the things that's quite interesting at this is they're actually Jewish artifacts, aren't they, essentially? And they're Nazis. So you obviously think there's some kind of...
Well, they think it'll give them power, didn't they?
Some kind of... They must. I think there's a bit where he says, I'm uncomfortable with this Jewish ritual, or something, one of them says. But obviously, the French guy, he's probably not... Doesn't share the same views as them, does he? So
No.
he's fine with it, but the Nazis might feel a little bit uncomfortable helping out with this. Just to kind of fit in with the despicable behaviour. I always thought the meal she was eating looked really nice.
A bit of apple and grapes.
Yeah, I know. It looks good. Where you got a drink around there?
Oh.
He does have a nice fashion sense, though, the guy.
Oh, Moloch, yeah.
Wish I could wear a cravat.
I wish I could wear a dress like that. or wear a cravat, yeah.
You kind of have to be you have to be either an esteemed long-term donator to the Conservative Party, or
Want to wear a cravat,
or a fancy eccentric gentleman.
Yeah. For the people I know who wear cravats, definitely gentlemen is perhaps more applicable.
As perhaps the long-term donators of the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Snakes don't scare me that much, I'll be honest.
No. I think they would me if they were poisonous.
Well, he's only scared of them because he fell into a bath of them when he was, what, like 16 in the third film. Just look at his face. He's just scared in every. He's either scared, annoyed, or terrified in every combat scenario he's in. He really isn't like James Bond. He's like, oh, come on then. Queensby rules.
Queensby rules, friends.
Fisticuffs at dawn. Although
Salah, get down here.
George Lucas gets a lot of stick recently, at the time he obviously didn't hear, because he was like, oh, he's the super genius who's created all 3 Star Wars films, even though he only really was involved in one, in the 4th one and the 6th one. And but Spielberg credits him as like saving his career almost, because I think before this he had like a bit of a flop. And
well,
I don't know what it was. I think it was like 1941 or something like that. It was like a war comedy film with like John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
And I don't think it did very well. So, and then this film came out and George Lucas was like, I want Spielberg to do it. And Paramount had like some crazy deal. It was like, you just can't go over budget. And Spielberg was like, I promise you, I won't go over budget. And they gave it to him, and he bounced back, pushed him back into the... show he was the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying, like Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan, and then he did in like the noughties and the tens. He's done like the political.
I don't even know what he's done this
like
last decade.
It's not very similar to this stuff, but then he released one called Ready Player One, which is so much like his 80s E.T. fun adventure films. So I think there's an R2-D2 and C-3PO here somewhere. I think it might be on the side of the Ark. I'm not sure. And then the set of this Well of Souls was filmed on the original set of The Shining, where it used to be.
Remember.
What do you think they're drinking?
Tequila.
Everything's tequila to you.
Yeah, it looks like tequila.
Ouzo or something.
It's water.
It must be water. And I like how she's pretending to be drunk.
And he probably is. Yeah. She's a hardened alcoholic from her time in the pool.
Drinking with all the Russian... It's quite sharp though.
Yeah. That will gut you.
You need a license for that in England. Hello, Fraulein. This bit is so funny when he brings out the what it looks like a garrote, but he turns it into a coat hanger. Never trust a man in a leather coat. It's so good. I want to get one of those. Just for that, just like...
Before you're putting out a garrote, it's actually just a coat hanger.
God, so he's the creepy one. And I don't think the French guy even likes him.
French guy just wants the Ark.
Is he even happy being involved with the Nazis? I forgot about one of the best characters in this, the captain of the submarine.
Oh,
the boat. So those 2 wings at the top is what you said.
That's where the mercy seat is located.
The image of God comes up of.
Which is supposedly where God would appear to the high priest. So
that shadow being cast is like a cardboard cutout of the Ark. It's not the proper Ark, it's just like a piece of card cut out in the shape of it. I'm still looking for these R2-D2s. And the sound of the Ark being moved off the top. When they take the lid off, is the sound designer he recorded moving the cistern off of his toilet because it's like solid. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a porcelain. It's like. So I always thought these guys were all dead.
Oh, they're all just lying.
They're just sleeping, aren't they? Schnell.
Desert call. Hello, Dr. Jones.
Salah would never betray you. I do like that they brought him back in the third one. A beer. Ear.
Oh, yeah.
So 7,000 snakes. I don't know if they're in there, but there were 7,000 snakes used.
Blimey.
I know. You say that break straight away, wouldn't it? That 3,000-year-old plaster.
Yeah.
That's the python. And the cobra.
It's an Egyptian viper. Oh.
Fiora matters. God, there's just so many scenarios in these films. You just think, I hate to be in this. Especially this just being trapped in that tomb.
Been entombed in the... What to them is the Well of Souls.
Yeah. So would you say there's a different kind of a mysticism to the Covenant and the Grail? Would you say the Grail seems more medieval, doesn't it? And the Ark is so much more mystical.
Yeah, well, that's the Old Testament for you. It's all a bit mystical in the Old Testament. But I guess the whole thing, you have the Ark of the Covenant, and you open it up and you see it, it kills you. Whereas if you drink from the Holy Grail, it gives you everlasting life.
But if you did drink from the wrong one.
Well, yeah, if you choose the right Holy Grail.
But then it thinks, are those enchanted by the Templars? Those cups?
What, in the third film?
Or the extra cups?
Well, I guess it's probably something to do with the water, I'd have thought.
Probably, yeah. Only the Grail can prevent that from happening.
Only the appropriate Grail.
Appropriate.
The appropriate Grail can save you.
The instructions for the construction of the Ark are found in Exodus 25:10. According to... Do you have that book on you now?
Yeah.
Do you want to find that? And the clothing that Belloc wears acting as high priest during the ceremony are found at the end of Exodus chapter 28.
Exodus 25, offering the Ark of the Covenant. It describes it there.
What does it say? Exodus 25:10.
It's that's the start of the...
Oh, is it a long chapter?
Yeah, it's a very long passage.
I would just be like a little sentence.
No, it's tells you all about how the cherubim should be spread out, how they have to face each other, and they should be turned towards the mercy seat, and the mercy seat on the top of the ark, and in the ark you shall put the covenant that I shall give you. There I will meet you, and from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubim that are on the ark of the covenant, I will deliver to you all my commands for the Israelites. Thus says the Lord.
So yeah, so they designed it from that passage, I'm guessing. So these bits are scary. But what's the scream? Is it just the wind blowing through?
Yeah, it's got to be just the wind going through the...
Oh, it's horrible, isn't it? But I was never scared by it.
Nah.
And when Harrison Ford's face to face with the snakes, I think they had like a glass screen in front of him.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Yeah. So that way he doesn't spit venom in his eyes.
I would say about actual snakes as well.
Yeah. Well, there's no CG, is there? Or I guess they could use models, but some Hugo Boss designed outfits.
Yeah.
Apparently the German was so bad when they speak German that in the German version of this film it was dubbed in proper German.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. That's because their accents are so bad. And I think this guy's just an English boxer. Well, I mean, the big guy. Yeah, this guy. He's just like a British bodybuilder or weightlifter.
Fancies a fight.
But he does play a Nazi quite well. He does look like one, doesn't he? Du, ja. It's like... Yeah.
I don't think "come here" is probably how you say "come here" in German.
It's just like he just doesn't want to fight the guy, does he?
Yeah.
He must be massive, that guy, because Harrison Ford's no shorty, no short round.
It's probably about... How tall is Harrison Ford? He must be, what, 5'10"?
6 foot, I reckon.
Oh.
Maybe a bit taller. Around 6 foot. That's
like Charles Bronson.
Yeah, he does look like Bronson, doesn't he? You ever seen that film?
Yeah.
The Tom Hardy one?
Yeah. Quite a while ago.
Go on then.
I think I watched that at Jack's house.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Jack's like, oh, this is me.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is what I aspire to be. Let's just go on then.
I think it's when his granddad used to get dodgy copies from somewhere. Because that's how we watched Rec 2, was his granddad had a copy of it from somewhere.
Oh. What plane is that?
That's a good question.
Is it a real plane, or is it meant to be one of those
Nazi...
I think
that is a real plane.
Just prototype crazy ones?
No, it is an actual plane. I don't know what type it is, though.
So apparently in this scene, the wheel actually went over Harrison Ford's leg at one point.
Ow.
And it but in fact, because it was so hot, the rubber kind of melted a bit, so it was soft.
Yeah.
And it didn't break his bones. It kind of destroyed the ligament or something like that. But even still,
Ouch.
Imagine that if it went over his knee.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, poor chap. Well, it's a Nazi, so not that poor.
Marion.
This guy doesn't think he's going to blow up. He just wants to scrap, doesn't he? He's like, come on.
Yeah, he don't care, does he? It's been a Queensbury rules, friend.
Yeah, it's funny how it's like every punch just sounds the same though. But if like, see, and if it's a really far away shot, it still sounds the same. Oh,
it's not even blocking.
No,
It's like, come
he
on.
just loves it. Oh, this bit is horrible, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh.
What's the rating for this film? Is it PG?
I think it is, yeah. Was it 12?
I don't think it was a 12. I'm pretty sure my copy was always a PG.
Was it 12U?
12U. I don't think there's such a thing as a 12U. 12A, I think you mean.
12A, that's it.
Usually first. 12U.
I think it might be a 12U in America.
Oh, okay. You spent 3 months in America and you're already Americanized. Y'all.
5 months. Gobbler. What kind of name's that?
Gobbler. Is that his name?
Yeah, he's like Gobbler.
Oh,
yes.
Boyle. You keep forgetting he's Welsh. Boyle.
You can hear the Welsh in him, actually.
It's been loaded onto a truck for Kylo. You can tell he's Welsh when he starts singing when he gets on the submarine. It's like the guy in Zulu who's like, he had a lovely voice.
Onward, men of Harlock.
He's like, oh, he got shot through the throat, but he had a lovely bass. I might watch that tonight, actually, Zulu. I haven't watched that for ages. Would you do a commentary for that, Zulu?
I don't really know much about it, or whatever's in it.
Just the history.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Boer War.
So you ever go to England, any of these films?
No.
No.
I can't think of any.
They go to Italy in the third one.
Yeah, and Austria.
Oh yeah, I'm Mickey Mouse.
What's he called? Baron McDougal or whatever he calls himself.
Yeah. She's wearing her beret, isn't he?
Hmm.
He's like puffed it up into a Scottish hat. I'd love to. I wish I owned a horse. White stallion.
That's a proper stallion, that one. Like us on there. Red Dead.
It is, yeah. It is very Red Dead. So the Nazi interrogator Gestapo guy, his name's Todt.
Todt.
Like
yeah.
Todd, which is the German word for death.
Is it?
Hmm.
I think that guy got off lightly and just getting chucked out.
Yeah, I know.
The rest of them will die.
There's the first Wilhelm scream.
Straight through the...
Destroy all these people's livelihoods.
Yeah, it's this bit that gets me.
Oh yeah. He used to put the windscreen. No. Yeah, they're just laughing at each other.
It's like, oh!
And they just start laughing at each other. Like, there's so much just comedy in these, and that's what makes them so good. There's a lot of jumping out of the way of things by just random pedestrians.
It's like my luggage in the back.
Just destroyed all their irrigation and water facilities there.
We spent thousands of years trying to build this complicated system, and Indy's just gone straight through it.
Just getting on his MG42.
Curses in German.
Yep. It's quite a strong one for a PG.
Yeah.
I guess you don't know what German is, though, do you?
No.
Made by Mercedes. You'd have thought they'd be Volkswagen trucks.
I've suddenly gone from being in the jungle to the desert again.
I guess they're in Egypt, aren't they? Which is around these guys get it worse, don't they?
Yeah.
Which is around an oasis. So I guess you can get to the desert really quick. Denial. You're in denial, Sam, if you don't know about the topography of Egypt.
Yeah. Forgive me.
I think one of the best shots, though, in the whole Indiana Jones series is the one in number 2 when they jump out the plane with the raft. It's just that long shot.
Oh.
It's quite like Star Wars, though.
The sergeant's like, right, I'll do this.
He's a tough cookie, this guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't give up. The plot looks a bit fake, but...
He wants to see the Ark of the Covenant.
Well, there was one fatality on the Well of Souls sequence. A python died after being bitten by a cobra.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
That's the only fatality of Indiana Jones movies.
And an early concept for the character who became Tot, the Gestapo man, was a uniformed Nazi officer with a mechanical arm that doubled as a machine gun and radio antenna built into his head. And then even George Lucas was like, no, that's too much.
Yeah, I was going to say, what?
Because like in the original Star Wars, the concepts for Han Solo and Chewbacca were like mental. Like Han Solo was like a big purple alien or something.
Oh, really? Oh, boy. Oh, that would hurt your bottom, wouldn't it? I
think that's real, though, isn't it? That's a real stunt.
That can't be. You would not have a.
It must be. Look, that guy's definitely been. Unless they sped the footage up and he's driving quite slowly.
Yeah, you would not. The skin on your back leg would not.
He must have had some things, maybe. See, it does look a bit sped up there.
Is there?
It's just funny how they all just look like old British men, the German people. Like in Star Wars, the officers on the Imperial officers just look like old British men.
Yeah, you sort of feel like his name should be Colin or something, don't you?
Colin Smith.
Yeah.
Oh.
As opposed to whatever his German name would be.
Herr Schmidt.
Herr Schmidt, yeah.
Colin Smith, but he's Cologne Schmidt.
Cologne Schmidt. Probably be Conrad or something.
Conrad Schmidt. I forget he gets shot. But he's yet to suffer his worst injury.
That's a pretty nice car, isn't it?
They're like, way.
They don't do that to him in the third movie, though, do they?
Who
the locals? They put him. Oh no, it's Marcus Brody in it. They put him in the back of the truck.
The guy just froze the watermelon. Salah must be a big deal in Cairo.
In Cairo, yeah.
God, he's pretty fed up now. He's like, no, just take me back to the classroom.
It's the boys.
That's the thing, though. It must be like he must have no uni lecturers are always like, I'm going away on a conference next week,
yeah,
so I'm not going to be in. He must be, yeah, but he must be gone all the time because he was only meant to be gone to get the Ark. He's been gone for a long time now.
Where's Dr. Jones? Oh, he's just in, where is he? Egypt. Colonel Katanga. Oh, Mr. Katanga,
yeah. I always recognise him from something else, and I can't think what. The actor.
Is he
look it up.
He
must be. He's an actor.
Well, yeah.
What's he a colonel of? Is he a colonel in the Royal Navy or something? Or because they're trying to go to. I think they're going back to England.
He's probably merchant navy if he's anything. If the merchant navy was around in 1936.
Look at him.
He's very happy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a married man.
Yeah, he has children.
Yeah. Here's the Welsh coming out now. See?
I think he's singing a British song.
Singing very Welsh.
Yeah.
Tor. Katanga. We said pirates, so there must not be.
I think she's probably being an insult. Oh.
Oh, that's the worst injury he gets.
Oh.
Just smashing the face in the mirror. She's just like, what'd you say? He's been through the wars, old Indy.
Look at the scars on him. Yes, you do, Indy. All the adrenaline's come out of him, so he's...
That must just...
sting.
He's probably just like, oh, yeah, just get me back to the classroom now, please. Where's Marcus Brody? So how does he know Marcus Brody, isn't he? His dad. For his dad.
Yeah, well, he's a professor, isn't he? He's at the same college.
But he knows his dad, doesn't he, before? I wonder if, I see, Indiana's not qualified for that job. He knows it because his dad knows Marcus Brody. He got him.
Nepotism.
Yeah, this film just makes me want to go back and study archaeology, but then I'll do one lecture and be like, oh, now I'm Tony Robinson, back in the field, with nothing to do.
Back and do archaeology, do a third degree.
Yeah. I could do if no one wants to hire me right now. Just go back to uni.
Couldn't imagine there's anywhere that's hiring at the moment.
No.
Perhaps you should drop out and become a monk.
I'll become a protector of the Grail. Like the guy in the third one with the tattoo on his chest.
Yeah.
They chase him.
Yeah.
They chase him in Venice. So even the rats are scared.
Yeah. Deep warbling.
See, look at that mouse. It's just got like a weird noise. They're just like, that's not good. So why does it kill them? Because it's an idol, a false idol. They worship the
kill
false
what?
idol.
Sorry.
The Nazis. Why does it kill them?
Why does it kill them?
Yeah, when you open it, why does it kill you?
Because the face that comes out of the thing is the face of God.
And you can't look at it unless you're...
Yeah, that comes from Exodus, where God says, "You cannot see my face, otherwise you will surely die."
So who can look upon it?
No one. The only person who could look upon anything was the high priest.
Okay. So, but he's dressed as the high priest, hoping he can look upon it.
Yeah.
But he can't.
But because he's not a actual high priest.
Or is it because they all worship the false idol of the swastika?
There's that as well.
Because they burn the swastika off.
They're not actual Jew, Israelites, should I say.
See how they see on the box, it's just burnt the entirety of the Nazi thing off.
Oh yeah, it will. God has power. It shows God has power over the Nazis.
Even though a lot of SS imagery and was all Teutonic.
But yeah, the whole idea was only the high priest could
look upon,
see God. And even then, it wasn't seeing the face of God. It was just seeing a bit of the presence. Having said that, the word for face is also the same word for presence in Hebrew.
Oh, so it's like you can only look upon his presence. It's just like an apparition of him.
Yeah, so it's sort of... He there's a bit in Exodus where he walks past Moses and he says, "I shall walk past you, but you will only see my back.
Okay.
You shall not see my face."
There's a fascinating tale. The Exodus tale.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Well, my knowledge just comes from Moses, Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
The DreamWorks musical.
It's quite accurate to an extent, that film.
It's a good film. So the people that made the submarines is apparently the same people who made the ones in Das Boot.
Oh, really?
And it was like, way. You got to get in quick though. Imagine if it starts diving.
Yeah.
It must be pretty hard to sneak into a submarine.
I was going to say, you'd notice, surely.
How many ways are there into a submarine? 3?
Yeah, at the most. I mean, he's going straight up the main entrance.
Yeah.
So.
Unless he just held his breath for a really long time. If ever I got drafted into the Second World War, I just would not want to be in the Navy.
Oh no, that must
be
submarine. Being in the submarine. Ugh.
Apparently the German, if you were in a Kriegsmarine, if you were a German submariner, I don't know what the word is, you could grow a beard. You were the only ones who were allowed to grow a beard. After your first voyage or something like that. So if you had a beard and you were in the Navy, it meant you'd done your first tour as a submarine crew. So now they're in Greece.
Were they in Greece?
On the map, it looked like they were in Greece.
Yeah.
On one of the islands, maybe, but wasn't it British territory at that point?
I don't know. I guess it probably is just one of the random islands off the side, isn't it? Oh.
So in this bit, when he's wearing the uniform that's too small for him, and then that guy comes up and starts speaking German to him. He says, "Good day, tired. Why do you sleep? Where's your shirt? Wash yourself so they don't look like a pig in your court martial." And he's about to say stand upright, but then Hindi attacks him.
So you don't look like a pig in your court martial.
This was me putting my old work uniform on I used to wear when I was 18, trying to put it back on again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy.
Surely he noticed the other guy on the floor.
Oh. I do like how they speak English. Maybe they made him French, so there's they had someone that they could do all the main talking in English with. Because if they're all German, they'd all just be speaking German to each other. If only they did that. That's how Hitler and all of his cronies were killed. They took the Ark to Berlin and opened it in front of him.
God killed them all.
But then it would have been like, it just would have been German Chancellor Adolf Hitler was killed by the Ark. It wouldn't have been as celebrated as it probably would have been.
Yeah.
It just would have been another event.
Like what?
And that's just a mental event that happened.
Yeah, the big news would be that they found the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. Hitler had died.
Well, that's how World War II ends. They're in the North Africa campaign. They stumble across the Ark. That would be quite a good story, actually, if they stumbled across the Ark when they're in Rommel and his tanks. So what do you think would happen? Because India has a bazooka, doesn't he? What do you think would happen if he blew it up?
Oh, that's a good question. Would God have escaped? Well, he's not really in the Ark, is he? But
he's not a genie in the bottle. He's
no, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It's a vessel of communication, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although according to this film, the Ark is somewhere in America now.
Yeah, that's true. It's hidden in the Smithsonian, isn't it?
I wonder what else is in there. There is a bazooka.
It's using an RPG.
Or is it one of those German ones? The Flaggenschmeicher.
Oh,
whatever they're called. Panzerwaffen fashion.
I know the one what are they called?
For single shot ones.
Yeah.
It's a really small, like a half size one, about that big. It just fires one into the side of a tank.
What was it? What was the Volkssturm? That was it.
The People's Army.
Yeah.
They'd use those in Berlin at the end. It's what the kid in Downfall has, isn't it? He has one of them.
Oh, but yeah.
Hitler Youth.
He was in the Volkssturm, wasn't he?
It's crazy to think in 9 years' time, well, these guys think they're going to be kings of the world and then they're going to be absolutely demolished. I wonder how many of them were. Well, none of them, because they all got killed.
Got killed. Yeah, they got killed by God.
Well, I think they'd rather that than get sent to the Russian front. See, he knows they're both archaeologists, and he knows he won't do it.
This is it.
I do wonder if he knows. Indiana Jones knows.
Well,
you shouldn't look upon it. It should never be opened.
Shouldn't open it, yeah. Only the high priest can look at it.
Is there a high priest now?
Sorry?
Is there a high priest today? Is there a head rabbi in
Israel? I'm sure there is an equivalent of what would have been the high priest in the temple period, yeah.
Was what's his name? Who's got the lost city of the lost temple of Solomon? That's it.
What, King Solomon?
Is this around that time, or is this after Solomon?
No, this is way before King Solomon.
Okay.
Well, as in the Ark Exodus was long before King Solomon.
That's one of the things I wanted to do as an archaeologist: find Solomon's temple. I think they know where it is, don't they? But they don't.
It's
in Israel,
exactly where the current Temple Mount is. Yeah. That's where.
But have they excavated it, or is it just?
They're not allowed. It's too much of a contentious issue because it's a mosque on there now, and I don't think the Muslims want it excavated.
in the name of... Where's the moon in front of the post? Do you see that?
Yeah, that's a bit.
Or is that a light? Yeah.
I think it's a light, actually.
Oh. So this is the high priest costume.
Yeah, he's pretending he's the high priest.
And what's that staff? Oh, it's a light. Yeah, it's not a moon.
Yeah, it's not a staff. Well, it's not. Don't think it's anything in particular. I think it's probably supposed to be Aaron's rod or something, but if it's supposed to be anything.
I know they say it's like, it's meant to be the Ark of the Covenant, but it's just filled with sand. But at the same time, it's still a 3,000-year-old solid gold sarcophagus.
Yeah.
That's got to be worth something. And the guy just laughing in the back.
But if I remember as well, they're supposed to do it inside the tabernacle. It's not supposed to be sort of done out in the open either. It's supposed to be done in the Holy of Holies, which is just the high priest doing it. No one else is allowed to. So
he needs to be on his own.
Yeah,
in the
Holy of Holies in the tabernacle.
Where's that? In Jerusalem.
That was the original temple, and the temple which has now long been destroyed.
Whereabouts was it?
Where the Temple Mount is.
Okay, there's a lot going on at that Temple Mount.
So probably the most important place in human history, Temple Mount.
I guess so, yeah. So that just makes you think, when does Indy know? Close your eyes. Don't look at it. Because isn't there a woman's face that comes out?
Well, it looks a bit like a... Yeah.
So so I was allowed to watch this bit, but then when the face turns evil, I had to shut my eyes, and I wasn't allowed to watch.
Yeah.
When I was young, not like last week. I mean, but it's terrifying though. It's probably the scariest scene in a kids' film.
Well, I guess if you were to come face to face with God, maybe it would be a scary thing. So you're like,
so it's like a woman's face, isn't it?
Yeah.
God, just the grotesquerie of it and the... What's that? Fire. God's burning fire.
It's lightning, yeah.
It's funny all this, like, you guys aren't good enough for a face melt, you're
It just zapped.
Oh. It's so good though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So his head just explodes. I always thought the guy.
I guess that's what happens if you try and find God without doing the right stuff. Right. Blow your head off.
Well, they tried to do the right stuff. He said he was in the full priest gear. He was in.
Yeah.
But he's not the full priest. He's not the high priest.
He's not the high priest. He's not there. This is not stuff to be messed with.
It's good having you on this commentary, because I doubt many people know about the full ritual that has to go into. Because when you watch it first, you think, you just can't open it. But they don't understand. You can open it as long as you're the high priest.
Yeah. Well, the high priest doesn't even open it. God just appears in between the two cherubim.
On
the thing.
You should never open it.
Seat.
So it has the
yeah.
Is the sand inside the destroyed stone tablets?
No, the tablets are in fragments. Yeah.
But they weren't in there because they would have found them in the. Because he opens it and it's just sand. He puts his hand in, so that means the compartments aren't actually in the ark.
No, so it's also Aaron's rod and supposedly a pot of manna in there. Which was the food they had in the Exodus.
He says the money's fine, so I wonder how much money they gave.
$3,000, wasn't it?
I wonder what that is in 1936. £20,000. It's the 30s, so there's ashtrays in front of every single person. So they don't even want... Are they keeping it used as a weapon? Or are they just locking it away?
I guess they're keeping it locked under key. But I think there was a second set in Exodus, if I remember, which get put in the Ark as opposed to the first set, which was smashed after Moses saw them worshipping a golden calf.
Oh. So, the only annoying thing about the third film is it's set after this, and this is like a happy ending for Indy, but then then whatever happens to them too.
Well, they get married, didn't they?
Well, they have a son, don't they?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, but the third one's set before World War II as well. So it's only like a year. So you got to wonder what else is all in these. What is it? Other biblical things? Is it?
What have the Americans got their hands on?
And it's just rows and rows and rows of boxes and it's just put away in there.
Or maybe it's best to just keep all this stuff hidden under lock and key.
Don't meddle.
Yeah.
So that's Indiana Jones. That's one of the greatest films of all time.
Not quite.
Shrek.
Not quite Shrek. Not quite Shrek. No.
It's still.
I don't think our commentary was as funny.
Oh, it's not meant to be. This isn't a funny film to do commentary on. It's I knew going into this is going to be like just try and be not informative, but just appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know how legit my commentary is, but
and I wanted to get your because I have listened to people talking about this film, and not many of them. They all talk about the Spielberg and the magic of cinema and how he's so amazing, and how Harrison Ford is the best thing, but they don't talk about the religious messages and the.
The trouble is, the religious aspect to it is heavily mumbled. I mean, the Ark of the Covenant was hidden in an Egyptian burial chamber, which is, it certainly is not in an Egyptian burial chamber. That's for sure. You know, and you wouldn't need the staff of Ra to access it either. If
I guess that part is just to make the story more interesting.
Yeah,
isn't it?
That's what I mean. It's just a filmography thing, but
the parts about how you can actually get access to the Ark is interesting. All that stuff.
Well, that's it. Can any human gain access to the Ark?
Can they?
Well,
only the High Priest.
Supposedly in history, it has been again by the High Priest. But there is actually 2 Roman emperors entered the Holy of Holies, where the Ark of the Covenant is.
Who?
And I think it was Crassus was one of them.
I don't think Crassus was an emperor.
That's what I was going to say. If Crassus was an emperor, I don't think so.
Crassus was just the richest man in Rome.
Yeah. I think Crassus entered it, and there's another one who entered it. But I forget
Ptolemy.
whose name it is. No, it wasn't Ptolemy.
Well, he was Egyptian, actually, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Actually Greek, but that's a story for another time.
So the Romans who in the Holy of Holies, and they both died.
Crassus was killed in battle.
Yeah.
And you saying it was because they entered the Holies of Holies, it condemned them to death.
Well, Crassus went in there, and I think he didn't desecrate it. He sort of went in, looked at it, and went out. Pompey, that was it. Pompey. Gnaeus. Pompey Magnus.
That would have been at a similar time because Crassus and Pompey were rivals. Yeah. That's the triumvirate: Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus.
That was it. Pompey enters the temple, but he doesn't desecrate it, whereas Crassus does enter it and takes the gold and sort of desecrates it. Yeah, and Crassus died pretty soon afterwards.
Yeah, he did. The story is he either had his head cut off, or he either had molten gold poured down his mouth. Someone here was credited as a mean Mongolian.
So Pompey didn't touch any of the stuff in the Holy of Holies. He just looked at it and left it.
And that's where the Ark is.
Yeah, and
allegedly.
he was, and he So Pompey gave an order for the high priest then to cleanse the places according to Israelite law, whereas Crassus just walked in and plundered the whole thing.
Nice.
And Crassus met a grisly end.
So it is. They both met a grisly end, actually.
I think Pompey was another 15 years or something after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, so
divine retribution or poetic justice, it's up to you.
So it's definitely a theme that if you mess with the Ark.
Yeah, don't mess with the
Ark.
Don't mess with God. Don't mess with the Ark.
That seems to be a theme of all of them.
The Holy of Holies.
Don't mess with anything religious. Like the second one, he definitely gets his comeuppance.
Yeah.
In Temple of Doom.
Oh.
Well, that's it.
Who the baddie?
The baddie, Molarama.
Yeah. Molarama.
Anything else you want to add, Sam? Any other religious things you can think of that might add to it?
Not really, no. I'm trying to think. Not really, no.
Oh, good. Well, I'll end it then. Well, everyone, thank you for listening to our... I think we added some stuff to that. Religious talking. Religious talking of our commentary of The Last Crusade. Me and Sam will be back with the other Indiana Jones films with The Temple of Doom next time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Give it a wave, Sam.